We're living in an age where the very notion of truth is becoming more fluid with each passing day. We're living in a time where deception and manipulation have just become the norm. We have so much access to so much information, and we're being constantly, consistently bombarded every passing day with legacy media, the news, social media, our peer groups, non-stop streaming services for anything the heart could desire. It's often too much. And in this information, something is happening where it's not only informing us, but it is also forming us. As if our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, our beliefs, our ideologies, and yes, even a sense of identity, seeming to be shaped, at least largely in part, by invisible hands. What is actually happening here? Who is in control of our minds? And what happens when we no longer recognize the course that is being steered for us? These questions and more. Let's talk about it. PSYOP stands for psychological operation. At its core, it's a planned strategy to influence people's thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behaviors, all without the use of physical force. You could think of it as a kind of mental warfare, if you will. And because of that, we often think about it in terms of wars and spies and politics and elections, these types of things. But PSYOP isn't just military propaganda or political manipulation. It's actually the science of influencing all human perception. And it's happening all around us every single day. In business, for example, companies might use subtle ads to manipulate consumer choices. And in everyday life, as in our social life, well, that viral meme or a conspiracy theory that's now trending online, let's just say they may not necessarily be as organic as they seem. The key word here is influence. It's about planting the seeds in the mind in a subtle way, and then coming back and watering, caring for, nurturing those seeds so that they may eventually grow into ideas, opinions, and beliefs. And when beliefs take hold, it's only a matter of time before thought and emotion combined to elicit behavior. A PSYOP, at its core, is a story, a carefully crafted narrative designed to inspire and influence the way you feel so it can change and transform the way you act. The military defines it as planned operations to convey information to influence emotions, motives, reasoning, and ultimately, behavior. But I don't quite like that definition exactly. It feels incomplete to me. It feels like it's leaving out a core ingredient. You see, human beings, we are storytellers at heart. Stories are how we understand ourselves, our relationships, and the world around us. Storytelling is as old as humankind itself. And a PSYOP, it is a story. And because of that, it has another grounding ingredient that isn't just about the mind. It's about the heart, and how easily the human heart can be guided through fear, outrage, or even hope and desire. To really grasp PSYOPs, let's look at a couple of examples in history. These tactics, of course, are as old as warfare and goes back tens of thousands of years, but they really exploded in the 20th century. Let's start with World War I. The British created fake news stories like the infamous German corpse factory rumor, claiming the enemy was turning dead soldiers into soap and glue. It was a total farce, of course, but it turned public opinion against Germany and was rather successful in doing so. Then World War II, when the Allies dropped over 6 billion leaflets on the Axis forces. One famous PSYOP, it was called Operation Bodyguard, and it used fake armies and double agents in order to deceive Hitler about D-Day's actual landing spot, and it saved countless lives by misleading the Axis forces. Fast forward to the Cold War, when the CIA ran Operation Mockingbird, allegedly recruiting journalists to spread anti-communist propaganda in the US media. Meanwhile, the Soviets used active measures, quote-unquote, disinformation that was used to sow discord in the West. And we can tell, even by today's standards, that they were very successful in doing so. And in these recent times, if we think of the Iraq War, for example, US Psyop teams broadcast radio messages urging Iraqi soldiers to surrender, complete with fake sounds of tanks approaching. And it's not just states. Terror groups like ISIS use these slick-type videos and online recruitment as psyops to radicalize people. Corporations certainly get in on it. Remember astroturfing, where fake grassroots movements push products and policies? From ancient times, like Sun Tzu's Art of War, emphasizing deception, to today's deepfakes and AI-generated content, psyops evolve with technology, and now they're everywhere. This is not a war fought on battlefields, but rather this is a war that's fought within the culture itself. And it works, because it doesn't force belief, it inspires it, and that's the secret of every effective psyop. The best lies are told through truth that feels good. And today, that battlefield is more invisible than ever. It's in our phones, it's on our computers, it's in our words, it's in our relationships, it's in our own hearts and minds. And we're bombarded constantly with content and opinions, emotional triggers, wounded ego reactions. Our minds, our central nervous system, is not built to withstand this type of attack. Modern psyops don't need soldiers or spies. They use algorithms, influencers, and outrage. Back in 2016, at the election, the Russian troll farm used fake accounts to post memes and content on both sides of every issue. They weren't concerned with one side winning over the other. No. They were concerned with division. They wanted everyone to fight. They wanted us to be at war with each other. For as long as we're at war with each other, we can't be at war with them. And then they get away with whatever they like. They wanted this, they planned it, they executed it. Because division is the weapon. And every time we share a post in anger, rage, chaos, we amplify it. And then, essentially, we become the operation. We are the psyop. And that's exactly why we need to care now more than ever. Because in a world drowning in information, knowing about psyops is like having this sense of protection for your eyes, your ears, your heart. So to do that, we need to become educated on how psyops work, when they are used, and to what extent they're used, and why that is important for all of us. So this is how modern psyops work. They overload the mind with conflicting information until it collapses into a confusion. They make truth feel impossible to find. And when you stop trusting truth, when you start descending down into the chaos of the mind, you start trusting whoever makes you feel safe, even if it's an illusion. That's not just deception. It's not just manipulation. That's psychological capture. And these psyops are certainly running through even our United States government. But it's not just the government. Psyops are used all over the world. Influencers, brands, and yes, even spiritual teachers use the same psychological tactics, sometimes even unconsciously. The formula is simple. Number one, create a sense of crisis. And as soon as people become aware of the crisis, then you swoop in. Number two, Offer yourself as the solution to the crisis. In the offering, you can then build that rapport, build that relationship, identity, and belonging around that message. Some will call it marketing. Sure, fine. But really, at the level of the reality in which it operates, it's psychological programming. Authenticity becomes a performance. Outrage becomes the new business model. And sincerity is hijacked and used as a weapon for persuasion. Every one of these psyops, whether it's political or personal or commercial, depends on 5 specific psychological aspects. Number 1, fear. Fear narrows the awareness and makes obedience feel safe. Second, hope. Hope promises salvation from that very fear that was instigated. 3, identity. It ties these beliefs to a belonging, to a core, putting people in a community of lies, having them think that it's safety. Number 4, this community becomes a tribe, and it rewards loyalty over truth. And you dare not speak out or against the tribe, or else you will be put outside of the tribe. One of the greatest fears of the human mind. And finally, number 5, exhaustion. It wears you down, it grinds, until you surrender your complete discernment. And once your discernment is abandoned, then they've won. They've got us. When all 5 of these are active, the human mind becomes programmable, very easy, and quite rapidly. That's why awakening, true spiritual and psychological awakening, always begins with the conscious awareness. To see the psyop clearly is to see how influence moves through the collective unconscious. It's to realize that the real battle is not us versus them. It's truth versus illusion. It's spirit versus ego. It's good versus evil. It's light versus dark. The psyop works because it hides in the parts of us that want to be deceived, the parts seeking that certainty, that validation, that control that we crave. But when we take the time from our awareness to step in and take charge of our own healing journey, and we begin to heal first all of the wounds inside of us, then the spell breaks. We stop reacting and we start responding. So, next time you're scrolling, pause. Ask yourself, when you get triggered, why do I feel this way about this post or this advertisement? Who benefits from this emotion? What reality is the message inviting me to believe? So when you start asking these very important questions, you're no longer the subject of a psyop. You are a conscious participant in your own awakening process. In the end, awareness is the only counterintelligence that truly sets you free. And that freedom is the way, and the very life itself. So now, we're left with a choice.
We're not all that different. Like we had talked about the Nazi from World War II that they tried, and then the reporter said, the alarming thing or the scary thing is this guy isn't that much different than the rest of us. It's just 1 degree off. And so you only know what you're being fed. And we're all being fed different things through different algorithms, different media channel that we're watching, or mainstream media that we're watching, news that we're watching. I think, for me, what I hope people take out of this is that you're all fed a very particular narrative to tribalize the U.S. And they've done a very good job of that, whether it's social media, news stations, mainstream, whatever that is. And so I think that people that watch this, that pay attention, will start to realize that they're being fed tidbits of different information to trigger emotions and to hate another side of this country. who may not think identical to you, but I think we all have a lot more in common than we realize. And I think this is a perfect way to kind of, in a bipartisan way, to dish out the information so that people understand what they're being fed is curated in a very particular manner. Hopefully people can see through some of this stuff and realize that we don't need to hate each other. We just need to talk to each other. And I think that's just something very important.
So this is to be the introduction or first video in a new series that I'm going to be doing over the course of time called American Psyop. I've already released the first two videos in this series, and I wanted to go back and just give an introduction. I wasn't necessarily planning on doing this as a series, but with the socio and geopolitical climate as it is, and the current events that are unfolding, certainly here in America, where I am, and all over the world, I believe the world is in a very interesting place, to say the least. It's a curious place, a dangerous place, and the decisions that we all make today are going to impact the future for generations to come. I believe that we are at a tipping or dividing point here as humanity, and that is something that we'll talk about along the way as we take a look at these different events that are playing out. As a predominantly psychological and spiritual channel, this falls in line with the different things that are going to be taking place over the course of this channel, because whether we want to admit it or not, there is spiritual and psychological warfare at play here, which I hope to demonstrate to you over the course of this series. And I'm going to be talking about things at the national level, global level, but also things at the personal level, mental, emotional, spiritual level, and the interpersonal level, and what's happening not only in our cities and on our streets, but in our homes, and not only in our homes, but in our heads and in our hearts, and why all of that is tied together, and more importantly, why it matters, perhaps now more than ever. So, those sound like things that you're interested in, and you want to go on a journey, then please subscribe, like. There's also going to be weekly videos on healing and consciousness, psychology, and how we heal and move forward individually, interpersonally, but of course, getting up to how we all move on in a healthy way, collectively. So, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and come on the ride with me. I'll see you soon.